Hey guys, this is Glenn for GMP Custom Fabrications, and on today's video I'm going to look for my missing overdrive. Okay, what I mean by looking for my overdrive, of course my overdrive's not working, and there's different reasons for that I've found online. All of them involving having to drop the oil pan and verify. It could be a solenoid that's burned up. That's, I think, the preferable one, because I think I can replace that without tearing the whole transmission down. The other one is the overdrive band that goes around the clutches or around the, I don't know. Anyway, the overdrive band could be burned up, and if that's the case, then the whole transmission has to come out to fix that. So I'm really hoping that's not the case. This being an RV that was at 44,000 miles, I think is what the odometer showed on it. I don't know how it was ran. I'm not familiar with RVs in general. If people know something that big, you'd think that if you're climbing any hills you'd want to kick off the overdrive. It'd be just like pulling a trailer. So I don't know any history on this motor transmission other than where it came from. I don't know what kind of life it had before then. I know when I first fired it up and I didn't have my transmission lines hooked up, it was some pretty dark fluid coming out of the lines. Knowing that leans awful close, or really leans towards the band being burned up on it. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do today. So let's get started. I don't know why they don't put drain plugs on transmission pans. Another possibility is that the filter's clogged, but I don't know if that would restrict it enough to keep overdrive from working. Something else I plan on doing while I have it out, you can kind of, I don't know if it comes out on camera good, but the bottom is kind of hit in on the pan. I'll bend it back down and get a little more capacity out of it. One of these pan bolts back in. That way the whole thing won't drop on me when I get the last one out. Okay. You see what I see? I don't think that's supposed to be there. I'm not sure where that came from, but I suspect that's wrong. So, I'm thinking that is probably part of the overdrive valve system, or overdrive something. But yeah. I'm getting transmission fluid dripped on my head because I'm so excited. Why am I excited? I don't know, because I really don't know what that means yet. But I will find out, and while this all drips out, I'm going to run that piece in the house, jump on the internet and see what it says. And then we'll go from there. Okay, it's Glenn, and I am back from consulting with the interwebs and that little plug that I found. Apparently when Ford puts these transmissions together, they put that plug where the dipstick tube will be going, and then whenever, I guess on the assembly line, whenever they put in the actual dipstick tube, it forces that little plug into the pan, and it just sits there until somebody drops the pan on it to service it, then they take it out. So that wasn't the answer. That's not where my overdrive went. So we will move on from here. Yeah, I was so excited that I seen that plug in the pan, and I was so sure that that was the source of my problems. that I really didn't even look at what was in the pan, which is pretty much nothing. I'm not really seeing any. I'm seeing a few metal shavings there, but not bad. Well, I don't know, they're awful chunky. There's some real grainy stuff right there, but it's not through the whole pan. It's not just all super metallic looking in the fluid. I am kind of concerned. That does seem like some awful big chunks, almost like sand. So pull that pan up. So that by the fact that I found that plug in there is an indicator that nobody's ever been into this transmission, because I don't think that anybody who would have serviced it would have left it in there. So being 44,000 miles, really shouldn't have been no reason for it to have been serviced, I don't believe. But I am seeing a wear mark right there where it looks like the bottom of the pan was dented in. Blocks of wood on the floor. Alright, so now let's get back underneath there and see what we can see. Okay, let's see what we can see here. Damn drips. This here's a filter screen assembly. I don't know if I got tools down here to take it off or not. No. Alright, a little quick update. Something I noticed is right after I shut the camera off, is I went ahead and held the pan, or put the filter in the pan to see how it matched up with the marks that's in there. And those marks in the pan aren't from this per se. I believe they're from that plug. Would roll around and get underneath there, and that would cause wear marks between the two on the inside loop. And then the outside is from that piece bouncing around, because there's no way this would have could have done it positioned in there like that. So that tells me that I wasn't mashed on the bottom of it like I thought I was. I thought I was seeing wear marks on the bottom of this, and I'm not seeing them. I do see right here, this little ridge here is made, I guess, to help set the depth. You can see right here where it was actually down on the bottom. I don't think that was an issue. So anyway, back to the internet and we'll see what we find. Alright guys, it's been a couple days since the last video, and I left off with going in the house to do some research, and man did I. Okay, part of this is embarrassing, but aggravating at the same time. Okay, so I pulled the pan off, looking for signs of why I didn't have overdrive. Now, an experienced mechanic would drop this pan, saw this, and knew exactly why I didn't have overdrive. It didn't dawn on me because I had no idea. So, as I'm doing my research, I'm trying to nail down exactly which transmission I have, because I've got wires going to it, so I'm pretty sure it's it's one of two different computer controlled overdrive transmissions. So I'm looking and I keep seeing the The E4OD. Okay, I'm convinced I have the E4OD transmission, which according to all my sources, that's what would have been put in a motorhome behind this 460. I'm looking for information on why the overdrive are not working those, and I'm coming up with different stuff. So I thought, okay, well, I'll find a video showing me how to tear the valve body off of it, because a lot of them had to do with the valve body and different things to look for. So I go to watch videos on that, and the first thing I notice, they pull the pan off, and what they're showing underneath the pan looks totally different than what I have. Those have a filter that inserts into the corner of the opening with a O-ring, and I didn't have that. I had this. I had this that bolted up underneath the valve body with some screws, and didn't see anything like that. And so I'm losing my mind. Think, okay, well, maybe they had different transmission, different overdrive transmission that they put behind this 460, and I looked and I looked and I couldn't find it. And finally, I took a deep breath and Googled C6 transmission pan. Well, the pan looks similar to the pan I had, but so did the other ones. So then I Googled C6 transmission filter, and I came up with this. Yes, I don't have overdrive because my transmission is a C6 transmission and never came out with overdrive. Yes, I could get a gear vendor set up for the back of it, but that kind of suggesting that to me at this point is not a good idea. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and upload this video. Yeah, I guess I accomplished what I set out to do, was to figure out why I didn't have overdrive, and now I know why I don't have overdrive, because I have a C6 transmission and not the transmission that would have generally been behind this motor in an RV. So anyway, sometimes you just have to laugh. But I'm gonna go ahead and walk in here because I have another C6 transmission, one that's behind the older 460, that at no time did I think to walk in here and look at this, because what was the point? You know, it was a different deal. But now that I come out and look, it looks just like the one I got in there. So anyway, of course I'm not happy about that, because part of this whole swap was to get the fuel economy, and that's the irony of the whole thing at this point. Well, there's a few major reasons for the swap. Number one, because the 460 is the biggest production motor made at that time. Number two was reliability of a fuel injected motor, and I think at this point I have that. I can turn the key and it'll fire up anytime. But number three was for fuel economy. I was getting actually pretty decent gas mileage with the 400 that was in there, because it was made to be a fuel efficient big motor, and it was that. I think I could actually, on the interstate, I think I could average around 15 to 17 miles per gallon. You know, just running down the road, speed limits roughly, turning pretty good RPMs with it. I think around 3,000 RPMs at the interstate. You know, it would do it all day long. Maybe more 12 to 15, I don't remember exactly, but I want to say around 15 miles per gallon. You know, I was hoping with this 460, between the fuel injection and the overdrive, that I could at least match that. Well, number one, I can't figure out why I'm running so rich. I've gone through so much gas just sitting here letting it idle, and little bitty trips to town is just crazy. I'm thinking, I'm still, as aggravating it is, the map sensor, the test that I've done on it shows it's bad. The one that I replaced it with, test shows it's bad. Unfortunately, because I'm not used to having to buy stuff that I anticipate having to take back on this level, I'm gonna have to try another one, because my tests are showing that these map sensors are bad. So I need to get another one and test it and keep testing them until I get one that tests according to the Shilton manual and what I've seen online. I'm getting, you know, the last two map sensors have been bad. And now going back, after I found I had other issues, I'm wondering if my first one was good. because I didn't do these tests on the first ones. I was going off of other stuff. I don't know what I ever did with the first one. It would be just incredible if I could just, trip across it, laying on top of a toolbox here, and throw it in there, and it fixes it. Since I haven't kept receipt, I'll have to pay for another map sensor, which I will guard that receipt with my life and continue to buy map sensors until I get one that tests out good. It's aggravating in this day and age that has become a standard practice with these companies, that they'll leave quality control up to the customer to get it home and see if it works. If not, bring it back. No big deal, right? Well, for me, it's a 10-minute drive. But I could just imagine somebody that orders stuff online, or if you had a long drive to auto parts store just to get a bad one, have to take it back. That would have to be aggravating. And knowing that there's a chance every time you buy a sensor from an auto parts store that it may be bad, that you can't buy one that's guaranteed to work. Yeah, you can ask my wife when I realized last night on the internet that I had a C6 transmission. For those of you that are on my Facebook, yeah, you saw my post on that. And I can't blame anybody. The guy that sold me the RV didn't know anything about it. He'd bought it because he was going to pull the motor out to use for something he was building, and he never got around to it. He'd never heard it run, didn't know much about it. He was helping out a friend by buying it. Every indication on the internet was that it would have the overdrive transmission behind it. So, that being said, my next step, of course, I will look for the E4OD transmission to go behind a 460 and a computer to go with it, because I'm pretty sure this computer is not set up for those for shifting like that. And that should have been an indicator there too. And I'll verify it. I've got a pinout chart of all my pins on that computer, and off the top of my head I can't tell. I don't remember if I had the shift wiring ones listed or not. It's got transmission shift solenoids listed on here, which was another thing that would have told me, hey, this is a electronic overdrive transmission. And if it's on that list, that means I have wires for it, which means it goes to a harness that goes to nowhere, which is beyond frustrating. But anyway, all I can do at this point is lick my wounds and carry on. So my thing today, I'll put the filter back on, put the pan back on, and fill it back up with fluid and stick to the service roads. At this point, I get this on, I'll just focus on the map sensor part of it and try to figure out why it's running so rich, and just put all my focus into that, because other than that, the truck's done. I'm happy with it, with every aspect except for the transmission and it running rich. Yeah, there's still some goofy cosmetic things I'm wanting to do to it, like like I did with the air ride and the LED lights on the inside. And I might do some more stuff like that, just because the purest rat rod people frown at stuff like that, I'm sure. But this isn't built for them. This is built for the people that come and look at it. It's built for me, so screw you guys. But I like to entertain the little kids. They don't know what purist rat rod stuff is. They just know what they think is neat. And if I can make the airbags go up and down without them knowing how, making it look like voice commands or something, then who cares what a purist rat rodder thinks. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. There's no point in me showing you how to put the pan back on a C6 transmission. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Yeah, before I wrap this up, guys, I appreciate the comments. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. Check out my other videos. I have a bunch of stuff on Rat Duallie by now. I have a few things on my Rat Rod Sketchy, which I'm getting ready to start back up working on again, and just other random stuff. So yeah, feel free to subscribe, check out my stuff. This is Glenn for G&P Custom Fabrications, living the dream till the freaking phone rings. Thanks for watching.